I just got off the phone with Robert Espinoza. Election day is going to be in 2 days. It's right now Sunday, June 28th, 2020, 4:20 in the p.m. And so there's 2 days before Election Day. Robert Espinoza is running against Joe Doro Sanchez and Lawrence Ted Real in the County Commissioner District number 1. So Robert Espinoza, he said a lot of things. Robert Espinoza is a very humble and nice man. Robert Espinoza, I would say overall, I would describe him as warm. He's a very warm person. So even if he disagrees with a person here and there, I believe he would always hear you out and probably even give you the benefit of the doubt. So Robert Espinoza, you know, there's 2 different ways you can govern as a politician. Say, hey, I have all the ideas, so, you know, I'll lead the way. Or I'm just going to be a man of the people, and when you say, hey, I need this thing, then I will hear your cries and try to do something about it. So either 1, a politician who leads the people, or 2, a politician who is responsive to the people's concerns. So he seems like, for the second one, he's very much a warm person that would listen to you, and I'm not for sure what he believes in, but I'll get into some of that here in a second. So Castilla County is one of 64 counties in Colorado. Castilla County has a population 3,500. This was in 2000, so 3,500 2,000, who knows how many people? That's 20 years ago, 3,500 people. That's, you know, Pueblo had 100,000, so 3,500, that's like almost nothing. That means if you're a commissioner, sheriff, you can memorize every person's name and their, you know, spouse and their kids and their dogs and their cats and their birthdays. You could know anything and everything about everybody. 3,500, that's very small and manageable. Could you imagine representing even a Pueblo, Louisville, Denver, a big-ass district where there's just so many people, it's impossible for you to know every single person? So Robert Espinoza, he says that the cops actually patrolled Fort Garland. So Fort Garland doesn't have a crime problem because they actually got the police that patrols around Fort Garland. But there's areas in Castilla County that does not get police protection. So Fort Garland gets police protection, but not the Louvetti. The police have never been out here by the Lobato Bridge. So 1 of 3 candidates, it's an open seat. Lawrence Pacheco is the current commissioner. He's going to be the commissioner until January 1st. But it's up to Joe Doro Sanchez, Lawrence Ted Real, or Robert Espinoza. I like Robert Espinoza. He was warm and friendly, and if I had a concern, if he's the county commissioner, I think he would hear me out. You know, whether he'll do what I want him to do, that's another matter, but I think he would give me the benefit of the doubt, and I think he would be respectful, and he would listen. Well, when it comes to, and he said this, Robert Espinoza believes that EMS, police, and fire service should be, everybody in the county is entitled to all of those services, including, the big cities, right? I mean, Fort Garland, Blanca, San Luis. I don't think Fort Garland has a city government, but Blanca and San Luis does, which actually means they have to take care of their own city police affairs. So the county police would have to stay out of Blanca, stay out of San Luis. But when it comes to the unincorporated area, the rest of the county, that's where the Castilla County police should, reign supreme. They should be more than happy to come out to Chama or Mesita or Rosa or Blanca. Fort Garland gets police protection, but what about Garcia? What about San Ocasio? What about the Louvetti or San Francisco or San Pablo? I think it doesn't matter if you're in Castilla County, if you're in La Valley, Chama, Rio Grande Rancho, San Pedro, if you're in any of these cities, San Ocasio, San Francisco, San Pablo, San Francisco, San Pedro, any of the Sans, any of these San Luis Valley ranches near Blanca, if you're in any of these areas, you should get all the same services, the EMS, fire, and police. Robert Espinoza believes that. Of course, yeah, there's only so many police and so many resources, but they could drive around. How much money does it take for a little bit of gas just to drive around all these different places? Also, go by the reservoirs, right? Aren't they? You're allowed to fish at the East Dale, Smith, Sanchez, and Mountain Home Reservoir. And then there's also the Forbes, Trinchera HQ. So those are the towns and cities of Castillo County. San Luis is the entire valley is named after the San Luis, the city of San Luis, which is a tiny city. Nobody, Alamosa is it should be the Alamosa, valley, because the San Luis, nobody goes to San Luis. There's nothing in San Luis. Family Dollar, right? There's just a few things that's in San Luis. There's a couple marijuana shops which, charge you $200 per ounce. But if you're a representative, you represent the whole county. So it doesn't matter if I'm going to list these cities and towns again. Chama, if you're in Mesita or Chama or Jaroso, if you're in the Rio Grande Rancho, San Pedro, San Pablo, SLV ranches near Blanca, San Francisco, the Luvetti, San Ocasio, Garcia, Fort Garland, Chama, Mesita, Jaroso, Blanco, San Luis, all these. It doesn't matter if you're in Castillo County. So that's what I beg of all politicians, the sheriff and the recorder and assessor. You represent everybody in the county. So what, you're from San Pedro? That doesn't mean you should get any less services. They represent the whole county. So even if you're from San Pedro, you should be treated just like you were from San Luis or Fort Garland. And if you're in San Pablo, Pablo or San Francisco, San Ocasio, you shouldn't be looked down upon. Castillo County was founded November 1st, 1861. It was actually one of the original 17 counties. Created in 1861, it was named after the Castillo River, and it's a word which means rib. So Castillo County is named after the Castillo River. There's a Castillo City, but it's actually in New Mexico, probably named after the Castillo River too. But the Rib River, the Rib County, the Rib City. So the Rib County has a population of 3,500. We only got 3,500. So you got what? A police force of a dozen. They can drive around everywhere and they can patrol everywhere. They're definitely, look, you got Fort Garland in the bag. Fort Garland is covered. Now let's try to go to the opposite end of the county and try to get the whole county covered. So let's, Robert Espinoza. I got more facts about Castillo County, so this is great for Espinoza. But Robert Espinoza, super nice, humble guy. He says he's a man of God, which I wonder always about, the religious. You believe there's a big invisible sky daddy? There's a big invisible sky daddy. You got an imaginary friend. I wonder about mental illness. But a lot of things about the religious and Christians specifically is that they're good people. That's essentially, right, he's got good intentions. So I hear that, okay, you might be a little bit crazy, but maybe it is crazy to be a good man in a sea of evil. So, Robert Espinoza is a good man, super nice, humble. He seems like he's a righteous man. He's chosen goodness, to be good, to honor good, to spread good. He believes in love and peace and justice. He mentioned specifically respect and love and, decency. God, can we just get some decency? That's all But poverty is a big issue, so I think he would hear me out on my stimulus ideas. Crime, he says that crime should be addressed, but he wants to know my specific problem, and so he gave me real solutions to my specific problems, and that's, the correct, I think he was right. I think he's 100% right. But he said he didn't worry about crime because he, lives up there by Fort Garland. So he says it's got to be addressed, right? He's worked at the community center, and he's worked with people that's been jailed. He actually says there's a lot of desperate, poor folks around here, a lot of poor, folks on drugs who are lazy and just want to go around burglarizing and criminalizing people. So he says there's actually some men with families who break the law, just some tiny little, statute at wintertime just to get 3 meals a day. Just to get themselves, 3 hots and a cot. So just get 3 squares, 3 hots and a cot. That's all. And so that's ridiculous. My God, people are so desperate then they would rather, just get a free handout instead of working. There's no culture of work and labor around here. I find that hard to believe. But Robert Espinoza says he's trying, right? He's turned a few around, tell them to get good jobs and, get that professional, get that money, get that respect, feel good about yourself. So he says he's been turning a couple people around. So, I feel like Robert Espinoza is a pretty good guy. He's in favor of job creation and job retention, so that's a backstop, right? So he wants to create jobs, but he also wants to keep the jobs we've already created. So overall, he's very warm, right? He's, cares about poverty, cares about Costa County, cares about the crime and, finding solutions to problems. He said that if you have a problem, there's a criminal running around and they're harassing you, and the cops don't do shit about it, he says that you should go to the DA. He says that you should petition the DA, you should go to the county commissioners' meetings, you should tell somebody, write a letter to La Sierra or, the Alamosa paper. So you got to, make us think about it. You got to tell people, and you got to let people know. You got to make it public. And so, yeah, I feel like I don't know what the hell it is with the police. I think it's because, I'm a nice guy, and if people say, hey, this terrible thing just happened, and there's blood and death, and, it's awful, it'd be a crime if it was anybody else, and if you saw it, you definitely would have done something, of course, about it, police officer. But for some reason, they'll look at me and just be like, nah, I'm not going to do it, and I'll just like, okay, well, shit, you win some, you lose some. So, I don't fight back. I don't argue with them. I don't try to say, hey, you got to do your damn job. Hey, what the hell's the matter with you? Are you, is that how your mother raised you? Don't you have a conscience whatsoever? If you're going to choose the side of the devils, you're not going to choose the side of the angels? Are you on the side of the devils? Are you in cahoots with the devil? Are you making sure these criminals, are you part of the criminal class? Is that what you want the criminality, the culture of criminality to, carry on? There's got to be a reason. I'm sure there's, laziness, I would say, is the main reason. Why would a police officer not take your case? But I'll also say lack of empathy, and, there's a bunch of possibilities, but I'd say laziness. People would rather not do something than do something, so it's like, God, if I believe this guy, and there's a crime, I'm going to have to do something. I ain't trying to do something today, so, that's not really a crime. Shit, man. So, yeah, that was sort of his password. Go to the county commissioner's office, write a letter to La Sierra, get it in the paper, get it heard, stand up and speak up, go to the district attorney. That's the next path. So that's his sort of understanding of the hierarchy. Get a meeting with Danny Sanchez. He's the sheriff. So get a meeting with Danny Sanchez. Perhaps Danny Sanchez doesn't realize that his deputies aren't actually taking people's cases seriously. He works on water board on the EMS, so he's, got a kind, gentle soul. Robert Espinoza, so far, he's the only one I've talked to, so he's, got my vote so far for right now. I was wanting to hear about his platform, and he was kind and he listened to me, but I don't know if he had a platform or not. I also want to know his feelings about Milton Friedman, but we didn't get to that. He had an appointment that he had to go to, so he had to hop off the phone. But, yeah, I very much appreciated the phone call. He gave good advice, Robert Espinoza. So far, he's got my vote. I called, the county clerk, and she said, she told me what's that, Najadine, the county clerk is, she told me that it was okay for me to vote for both District 1 and District 3. And that changes the dynamic. God, that changes the dynamic of. It changes the dynamic, because if it's a at-large position, so that means they only pick it from the region. You don't represent the region, you represent the whole county. The region that you're in actually represents all of your competitors. These are the people that will stop you from becoming county commissioner. But if you come out of the region, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to represent the region, just the entire county. So since I could vote for District 1 and District 3, that means both of those politicians will need to listen to me. So that's, I think that's a good thing. It just, I guess I'm still shocked. I'm still utterly shocked that I get a vote for 2 county commissioners and not just the one. And that's better for me, I don't want my ballot to be ruled invalid. But anyways, Robert Espinoza, you got my vote so far. Peace.